Hey there, friends. Welcome to It's So Tiny, miniature painting with me. I hope that everyone is well. I'm glad to be back after a week off. Last week, I had some friends come in, and we went to Fan Expo Boston, and so that's why I was not here. Um, so, I'm very excited. Today we're going to be painting some cars for Gaslands. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to take you down to the table. So I have two cars here. I'm going to start working on the Volkswagen first, and then if we have time, I'll go into the hot rod a little bit. So if you're unfamiliar, Gaslands is a game in which the miniatures that you use are miniature cars. So here we have a converted Hot Wheels car. It was like I said, a custom Volkswagen Beetle. I replaced the tires. I added a bunch of little bits and bobs and stuff on there. This chain around that, some spikes on the side. Anyway, you get the idea. So this is customized from a Hot Wheels cars that I got. This guy here, same thing. So this is a hot rod vehicle that I got for 94 cents, and I added a bunch of stuff to it. Took them apart, reattached them, because you can take these apart with a drill. And yeah, so we're gonna get started on this one first, and if we have time for both, we will certainly go back and forth, but this is the one I advertised that we were painting, so that's what we're painting. The miniature itself, or I'm going to call it miniature a lot because I'm used to painting miniatures. The car itself was a bright green color in the package. So I think what I'm going to do with these cars is try and stick to the original color, just to kind of pay tribute to the car that it was. So I'm going to go with green, but I'm going to go with a more earthy green. Also for these, I'm going to be using, as much as possible, I'm using scale 75 and Pro Acryl. The reason I'm doing that is because those dry a matte finish, and in my eyes, post-apocalyptic car racing, the paint's probably not shiny. So the green that I'm going to try is this field gray. It's not really the color that I want. But the color that I want is in Citadel. So, and I'm not gonna, I'm gonna try not to use Citadel if I can help it, or as little as possible. So, I'm gonna get some of this field gray. This is the scale 75. I'm gonna put this on the old palette. It's quite a bit lighter than I wanted it to be. Which brush? Let's give Old Faithful a try today. All right, let's see how this looks. I don't care too much about mistakes, given the type of vehicle that we're painting here. Couldn't find your remote. It's probably the kid's fault. When in doubt, blame the kiddos. So all of this stuff will be severely weathered. So that's why I don't care too much. Even if I get a little bit on the tires, I can use, my dirt stuff. I also don't care if it's like perfect. So I gotta get out of my head to treat this like I'm painting a miniature, because I'm not. And being a perfectionist actually does not help to paint the car look cool, because again, we are in a post-apocalyptic universe, and so the cars and stuff aren't going to be perfect anyway. But it's me, right? So I glued them down. It actually says, so in the rules itself, um, you basically, according to the rule book, you have a choice. You can either glue down the wheels or you can put the miniature on bases. And I prefer to keep mine off bases because I just think it adds more to the aesthetic of the game. So I chose to go the route of gluing down the wheels so that it doesn't move when you bump the table. I didn't know how I was going to. I didn't know how I was gonna hold on to the car while I was painting, and I was chatting with G on the Polo, the Marco Polo, and I just thought to grab some popsicle sticks, which I have lying around, and voila. I probably don't have to be as careful as I'm being. I'm literally saying, like, hey, you don't have to be careful when you're doing this. And that's literally what I'm doing. It's just that miniature painter in me. It's like you want it to look decent. You don't even have to paint. Everything that I've done is completely optional. Um, you can literally go in your kid's toy box, grab a couple of Hot Wheels or Matchbox cars, monster trucks, whatever you have lying around, throw them on the table with the rule book, some six-sided dice, and some scissors to cut the templates out of the back of the book, and you can play. Everything that I'm doing right now, purely optional. But, in my opinion, is one of the coolest parts of the game. Being able to, make your own thing from your own creation. I'm making sure that my paint is not super watered down. Normally on a miniature, I would want my paint to be thin so that I didn't see brush strokes. In this case, seeing brush strokes. Why is that so difficult for me to say? again, just adds flavor to the sculpt, to the miniature. So it's pretty cool, guys. If you are not familiar with this, or you've never heard of Gaslands, get familiar, because it's quite the thing. I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that the Gaslands Facebook group has like 20,000 members, which is crazy for an independent game like this. You know, usually you're lucky if it's 1 or 2,000 people in the Facebook group. But this game has a lot, and rightfully so. I haven't even played a game yet. Like, this is just me preparing to play the game. That's kind of the crazy part. I haven't even played a game yet. This is just... I wanted to do the car thing first, but then I ended up getting completely sidetracked with... completely sidetracked with... I don't even remember what I was going to say. You know what I just thought? I just thought of a really cool idea. I should live stream, and on the stream, let the people in the chat help me build the car. Like, let me know what weapons you want me to take. You know, which car. I have a bunch of cars. We can pick a car and... You know, like... I think that would be super, super fun. Super cool that two people could have the same Hot Wheels car. Yep, I think that's super cool too. You can actually go, like, if you join their Facebook group, you know, obviously people share, you know, share their artwork and stuff, their miniatures that they've made. And you see a lot of the cars that are, because if you go to Walmart or Target or, you know, wherever you shop for stuff like this, most places, especially in the US anyway, most places right now have the same cars, right? So they come out in series. When a series comes out, it's pretty much all the same stuff, no matter where you go. So, like, I've been doing this now for a few weeks, and I'm starting to notice that as I'm going into stores and checking, they're all... I mean, every now and then you'll find a gem. Like, I found... In one store, I found the DeLorean from Back to the Future. I also found the Batmobile. But those are ones that I haven't seen in other stores. And I only saw, like, one of them in the bins. So I got a few unique. But for the most part, everybody's getting from the same pool of cars. And I guess if you're in it long enough, you start to have more and more unique stuff because you are using cars that, you know, other people might not be able to get. I think that's everything I wanted to paint in this color. I'm going to go back through and... Yeah, I think a It's So Tiny community car would be cool. I'm going to have to think of a way to advertise that and get people to join. I wonder if they'd let me advertise. They might not let me advertise. I guess I gotta start being a little more active on their Facebook group. I'm gonna alter the way it looks. Hopefully by a lot, but we'll see. I also want to come on and build my own car. Like with the rule book and stuff open. Explain to people, talk about what I'm doing. Because admittedly, I have not finished reading the rule book. But you can see how invested in the game I already am. And if you think this is bad, you should see the bin of cars I didn't have 2 weeks ago. Or the 2 boxes of terrain I've painted for this game. All for a game I haven't even played yet. Because for me, honestly, even if the rules suck, which I don't think they will, and even if I don't like the game, which, again, I don't think that will happen, painting the miniatures and stuff is still really fun. Really, really fun. Really, really. Alright. I'm pretty happy with that. I actually like the color a little more than I thought I would. I do like that. It's So Tiny community car. And then they also released the same... I'm going to grab this graphite gray. Is this the color I want? Or do I want this rainy gray? Let's do this rainy gray. Sounds cool. I could probably whip something like that together. Alright, so I'm going to try using this rainy gray. Again, the reason that I'm trying to stick with Scale 75 and Pro Acryl is because both of those colors dry in a matte finish. And for miniatures, I don't really like that. But for this, I think that having... what was I saying? See, I'm so distracted. Oh, I don't like the matte finish on miniatures, but I think that on something like this, it really again just adds to the aesthetic. Because um, I don't think that in a post-apocalyptic universe the paint would be necessarily shiny. I don't think it'd be shiny at all. So like I am gonna use metallics, but I don't know why I did this color. This color, this little shield thing. I guess it doesn't look terrible though. Sorry, I don't know if I made any sense at all. Kind of all over the place. Hey, Tony. The other thing that I have found with this particular hobby here is not to settle on something once you think it's done. So, like, I've been working on this car for like 2 weeks, and every time I would sit down, I would think of something else to add. And now it just looks ridiculous, right? I have an exhaust here, exhaust, exhaust. So it's got 6 exhausts. There's a little skull up here. I have a little dynamite on the back. Of course, we have some cages, and then our machine gun. Same thing, like I've gone a little crazy on this first bunch here. The game recommends that the first game that you play, or the first couple games that you play with one car with a machine gun and one buggy with a machine gun. So this is going to be my buggy. The other one is a car. They're both equipped with machine guns. And a whole bunch of extra bits and bobs. Bits and bobs. Oopsie daisy, dear. Yep, the car is definitely exhausted. This one I just changed the exhaust. Instead of coming out the back, it comes out the side now. Also added these chains around here. Obviously we have the machine gun and the cages, and then these little spikes. And I changed the tires. I moved the back tires to the front, and then I added these big truck wheels to the back because I thought it was cool. Why not? I don't know what color I want the cages to be. I haven't gotten that far in my brain. Gonna use dark silver for the metally bits. Good vibration. So this is, what did I say? Dark silver from Pro Acryl. What about a dark gold or a bronze color? Bronze. I do like the bronze that I have. Thought about just leaving them black, but that's boring because the tires are going to be black. I also thought about painting them like a light brown to make them look like they were made out of wood and not out of metal. I don't know why I'm bothering painting the little spikes here. They're gonna have mud and dirt and rust all over them. But all good. All good. I'm gonna grab the other silver for the chains. You know what? I just had an idea. This is that same color I used on the shield on the front. This should have been on the last Rocky movie. How's everybody doing out there in TV land? All I can think about is that community car idea. I think that's super cool. Okay, a little community project. for every part, I'll just give them like 3 options and they can pick. Because obviously I only have certain things. You can't say like, yeah, add a rocket to it, and I don't have any rockets. This is just regular silver from Pro Acryl. It's much brighter than the dark silver, obviously. Again, all of this is going to get weathered to look rusty and dirty and stuff. This is just, right now I'm just doing base layer stuff. Trying to give it a decent foundation, so if anything strips off or, you know, it just looks battered, you can see a little bit of the undercoat. Makes it look a little more realistic. This was pretty, like I said, I've been working on these for a while, and I shouldn't say a while, a couple weeks, off and on, and I just leave them on my desk, and I come down and look at them, and look at my bits, and then it's like, oh yeah, you know, like this place or this spot right here, I really could do something with that. Like I made this car, I made the other car first, and I did it in one setting. This one I did it over the course of a couple of days. And because I did that, every time I came to it, I had new ideas that I didn't have before. And when I got done making this car, I looked over at the other one and I was like, man, you need some help. So I'm glad I hadn't painted it yet, because I was able to then add other things and change things, and it ended up working out. So, yeah. Anyway. I keep pulling this away. I'm definitely not making this perfect. Again, because we're going to try and rust all this up. It's pretty cool. Sorry, I couldn't find the paint that I was looking for. Alright, so black. I'm just going to clean up some of the things I had, and then we're going to start the weathering process. Because that can be a lengthy process. I don't really have to do this because, again, weathering. But this is me. Okay. Alright, let's make this thing muddy. So the first thing that I want to do is rust and then mud. Rust and then mud. So now I gotta decide what I want to be rusty. Do I want a whole door to be rusty? I can make this whole door rusty. Let's try it. Now I'm gonna have to bust out the Citadel paints, because there's certain paints that I like best for this. First one being Rhinox Hide. It's one of the most used paints for this method of rust, because it's kind of like a reddish dark brown, like a dark red, dark brown, which is a great base for rust. So I'm going to paint this whole panel that I want to be rusty. So basically the thought here is that, you know, the car got junked and the door was missing, and so somebody replaced the door with a rusty door. So you're creating the illusion that this door for this car did not come on this car. Of course, this part right here wouldn't be that color. Dang it. Dang nabbit. Right. I'm gonna have to unpaint that. I mean, it looks fine, I guess. Although it's gonna bother me, so no, it's not fine. Alright, I think that's good. So now that door will be completely rusty. Everything else will just be rusty. Alright. So, I have some old foam. Just gonna tear off a bit. Like that. And then I'm going to grab that same brown, that Rhinox hide, on my thing there. I'm going to be pretty heavy with this. Now, part 2 of that combination is Mournfang Brown. This time I don't need to put any on my palette. I'm just going to use it straight from the pot so you can see here in real time what I'm doing. Alright. So I have the this little guy here. Getting some on there. Dabbing it out. Now I just want to go lightly over the places that I just was. Except for that door, I want that door to be very rusty. I am not bad. How is Miss Margie doing? I don't think I liked this color on those cages, if I'm being honest. I don't think a metallic would have been better, though. I almost want them to be completely rusted. Is that weird? I might have to paint it on. I'm glad she's doing better. Was your trip okay? Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that you had to get your brakes done. Alright, so now we're going to use this bad boy. Well, you know what? I'm going to do the... Hold on. I'll show you how I do exhausts. It's not really brain rocket science. I'm going to use cerium sepia. It's a shade. And I'm going to hit this whole thing with that. I guess to do this, I'm going to have to... Alright, so Sterling mud. This is going to ruin a brush, so I got to find a brush that I am okay ruining. This is the one. Okay. So this is a technical paint. It looks like mud. And it's going to dry looking like mud. So... where would there be the most mud? Tires. Right. And around the tires. You gotta kind of stipple it on because you don't want it to look painted, you know what I mean? You want to get some of those bits and bobs and dirts and whatchamacallits. It's a popsicle stick. I'm gonna stick some of this mud stuff like around the gun where maybe they hadn't had a chance to wash it off. All up here in the rack. Sometimes you just see something, you just wipe it, and it makes it look better. Grab a little more Mournfang brown. Now I'm just putting rust on top of dirt, dirt on top of rust. I got this side a little dirtier than I wanted to. I don't know if I can fix that now. See how it looks. I'll paint it. That looks terrible. Alright, so next we're going to keep working on that exhaust that I was telling you about. We can do at least we can do the next phase in it. Sometimes less is more. And that kind of got away from me. I was like, mud, and I was putting mud on everything. And I was like, well, that's just a bit more mud than I wanted. Night, G. Sleep tight. Alright, so from Cerium Sepia, we go to Caraberg Crimson, which is another wash. We're going to go over that same thing again, only this time we're not going to go all the way up. So, about here. I'm going to take blue on the exhaust. About halfway up. I guess that I need to get that in the screen, huh? And then we switch over to the purple wash. I forgot the red on this one. Let's see if I can get it on there. Oh, man. So you definitely need to get that red in there. That's like the most important part. pretty happy with it. I definitely need to chill on the rust on the next one. Or the mud. Ended up being way muddier than I intended it to be. Maybe I need more mud on the back here. That's what I'm thinking. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to do with it, and I cannot, for the life of me, remember what it is. I mean, I can put it down, and then if I can't think of it later, or if I think of it later. All right, so we're calling this one done. For now, I don't know if I like the roll cages being this color at all. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. All right, so moving on to this guy, this little hot rod. Yeah, so I think I want to keep the car itself black. But I think I should. Do I paint it German gray? I might paint it German gray. Although, so this car was originally black and yellow. I think I'm going to leave it that way for now. So let's grab some of that dark steel and start darkening in the metal bits here. Have you considered doing a partial effect, a practical effect? Give me like, what do you mean? Like, instead of actually using mud, like, just make it look like mud? Like, just paint it on? Paint it, weather it, let it dry, and stick it outside in the dirt. Yeah, I have thought about that. I also have some pigment powder, which kind of is the texture of, well, powder. I don't know why I was trying to be all fancy with it. So it's basically like flour, but it's pigments, and I have different colors to include dirt and rust color, and it's basically supposed to be very similar to what you're describing. I've always heard horror stories about people putting like real life things like real sand or real dirt, things like that, onto real flowers, onto anything like this, um, because it can have weird effects on the plastics or, you know, the paints. So that's why they say, like, if you're going to use sand from the beach, you need to wash it and rinse it, which usually means it's going to leave, you know, it's not going to really work the way you want it to, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I'll try something different on this one than I did on the other one. What color is a brick of dynamite these days? I guess the color most people would expect would be red, huh? I'm gonna use burnt red from Pro Acryl. This is gonna be for the dynamite. Grabbing a little bit of ooh shabbity bone. This guy here. Yeah, Dracula for sure. So this was just a black and yellow hot rod, and this was the first one that I started to modify when I started to really be like, okay, this is crazy fun. This one just got a little obnoxious. I got a little crazy. All right. Let's see. How do I want to do this? I need more paper towels for sure. All right. Some more Rhinox hide. I'm just trying to be a little gentler. I still want them to be in theme together now, so I kind of hurt myself a little bit with that, but so I mentioned at the start of the stream, I don't know if so the way that this game works is you get to just buy cars and customize your own cars and stuff. Um, so they recommend um, for your first couple games, you play with one car and one buggy, each armed with a machine gun. So that is what we are currently painting. I didn't do this on the other one, but I'm going to do it on this one. I'm going to grab some Scrag Brown. It's the brightest of the three. So I need to be ultra scarce with this one. Grab some more of that red. Repaint some of these wires. Because they wouldn't be rusty. They would be dirty, but not rusty. I'm probably going to redo these. Because I like the way this looks way better than the way this looks. And hopefully it will work. Let me just move this camera up a little bit. There we go. This is where I seem to be painting anyway. So I'll just have to dirty these up, and I can even have them looking slightly different, like they were a recent add-on. All right, I'll come back to those. I'll let them dry for now. Back to this big boy here. Let me get out my Sterling mud. I'm gonna do significantly less this time. I went a little too heavy on the dirt mobile there. I'm trying to think of places that it would be caked in, right? I think it would be caked in down here, caked in up and around there. This crap out of the way. Alright, now for some exhaust fun. Alright, so first color, Cerium Sepia. Goes over, you basically start close to the base of the metal, and you just move it all the way to the front. Same with all these exhausts. It doesn't have to be the same on all of them. You just want So that's drying. Now we take Caroburg Crimson. And you start you start where you started. So we started here. And then we go about 3/4 of the way. And we work our way up from there. And you don't have to let each step dry completely. I want them to be slightly drier than they are. Grab a little bit of German gray. Pull over the buggy here and see if there's... Oh yeah, we gotta dirty up that, see? I knew I was doing it for a reason there. I remember what I was gonna do. I have this black exhaust. Here it is. By Secret Weapon. This stuff makes a ginormous mess, so I need to be crazy careful with it. It's already making a mess, and I just opened it. Alright, so I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of it. It's like a powder. This is that pigment stuff I was just saying. And there's a couple spots where I made bullet holes. I guess I covered up all the other bullet holes, huh? Yeah, this stuff makes... It's awesome, but it makes a huge mess. Alright. Let's put that back over there. Let's see what else. Alright. So now we grab the blue, the Drokoff Nightshade. This is again going back to the exhaust stuff. Huh. Alright, grab some Agrax Earthshade. What do you guys think? Hmm. I'm looking at them and I don't really see anything else I want to do to them. I think next time that I paint a car, I think I will do no mud at all. I'll just do a rusty car. I think the mud might have been a bit much. I don't know. Maybe it looks really cool. It's always hard to tell. It's a problem with this sticky stuff sometimes, is that it just really sticks on there. If anybody knows an easier way to get this stuff off, let me know. Can't tell you how many miniatures I have little blue stuff on the bottom of them from where I had. I guess nobody will ever mistake my miniatures from somebody else's. Just turn it upside down and you'll see my blue. I bet this one's not as bad. Look at that. Not as bad. I don't know, they're pretty cool. Oh man, they are pretty cool. I don't know if it's too much mud or not. It's not, right? I mean, it's Mad Maxy. Mud and... Like I said, next time I'd like to do more rust, less mud. More rust, no mud. The next time I'll let the stream help me build a car. Like, we'll go through the actual building process. Now that I know how long it takes to paint. It's so sticky. Oh man. I gotta save these popsicle sticks. These came in handy. Yeah, these look cool. I realized that all the chrome was so dirty and so that it was kind of taking away from the fact that it was kind of a hot rod. I'm just kind of doing some light dry brushing of the silver over top of it. It still gives me the effect I want without it looking so uninteresting, I guess. This one doesn't need that because I didn't dirty up that chrome as much. And the chains look, I mean, the rest of this looks fine. It was just that. I think I'm done. Like, I mean, maybe after I stare at it for a long time, maybe something will come to me. If anybody in the chat thinks of anything, now's the time. Nobody? Well then, I'm officially calling them done. I can't put this one on its side. Yes, I can. The beauty of this particular hobby is that there is no right or wrong answer. It can be as elaborate or as junky as you want it to be. You know? So, all right, well, sometimes they're long, sometimes they're quick. We've been streaming for 2 hours, and man, that's really jacked up. I'm gonna have to replace my web palette before I stream again, which is Monday night over at Play Renegade, twitch.tv/Play Renegade. And then that's at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then right back here next week for It's So Tiny. The miniature that I'm going to paint is... you thought I was going to show you the whole thing? I'm just going to show you the stand. There's the base. And that's all I'm showing you. I'm going to tease you a little bit. Yeah, so meet me back here on Thursday. Maybe it'll be quick, maybe it'll be long. I want to go race these cars now. No. Not gonna lie, these are pretty cool. Alright, I'm gonna stop geeking out over them. The palette dried up because I have a fan on next to me, and one of the coins wasn't in the corner, so it started to fold up a little bit, and the air from the fan must have blown it dry on the bottom, and it just kept curling and curling as it dried up. So I'm gonna have to replace the paper and re-wet it, which is fine. I usually do that once a week or once every other week anyway, so All right. That's it. I'm gonna stop waffling and let y'all get on with your night. I appreciate you. I love you. Make sure you go check out our YouTube at Circle of Nerds. Make sure you check out my Instagram at The Real Daddy Louie. Make sure you check me out on Facebook and TikTok at It's So Tiny, and YouTube. Oh, I already said YouTube. And of course here, make sure you follow us so you get notified when I go live. And subscribe if that's your thing. Because we have no subscribers yet. And that makes me sad. So maybe you could be the first one. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alright, I'm done. I promise. Remember to take care of yourself, take care of each other, play your games and paint your miniatures, and I will see you guys when I see you. Thanks as always, and I will talk to you later. Outro button. Bye.
It's so tiny.